Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're moving way beyond those generic product reviews you see everywhere, and we're zeroing in on a mega popular treat, Temptations Classic. But we're doing it with a very specific twist, through the lens of owning a large breed Norwegian forest cat. We're using our comprehensive 2026 review article as our single source of truth here, testing this treat against what it actually means to have one of these gentle giants roaming your house.
So let's just dive right into the big question. Every cat owner knows that sound, right? That borderline addictive rattling of the treat container that practically causes a stampede in the hallway. But here's the thing generic reviews completely miss. What does this intense palatability actually mean for your gentle giant? When you've got a massive cat, the rules of treating totally change. So we need to figure out if this best-selling brand is actually a silent calorie trap for your specific breed.
Across all of our evaluations, we stick to the exact same weighted scoring system to make sure we're comparing apples to apples. And today, Temptations Classic is walking away with a 7.2 out of 10. Let's break down exactly why it landed on that number.
Here's how we're going to tackle this today. First, the phenomenon. Then, what's inside. After that, the large breed math. And finally, the final verdict. All right, Section 1, the phenomenon. Universal appeal versus breed reality. So, independent reviews and owner reports consistently describe this treat as having near universal acceptance. Even the pickiest, most food-selective cats, or those who completely reject prescription foods, will just gobble these up. So the question really isn't whether your Norwegian forest cat will eat them. Oh, they almost certainly will. The real question is whether you can manage portion control when they're looking up at you begging for just one more.
Now, to be perfectly fair to the manufacturer here, we've got to highlight a major positive. Unlike a lot of treats out there that are formulated strictly for flavor with absolutely zero nutritional claims, this product is actually labeled as 100% complete and balanced for adult cat maintenance. That means it contains the full vitamin and mineral panel a cat actually needs. It's not just empty filler, which is a genuine quality signal when you compare it to lower-tier competitors on the market.
Moving right along to Section 2, what's inside? Let's look under the hood. Okay, so there's a really clear, undeniable trade-off happening here. On the pro side, you get that unmatched palatability, right? Which is an absolute lifesaver if you ever need to hide a pill or do some training. But look at the cons. You're definitely compromising on grain-free purity. The classic formula has ground corn, wheat flour, and brewer's rice sitting right there in the first 5 ingredients. Plus, there's no fiber system for hairball management. Bottom line, this is a pure palatability product, not a functional, health-targeted one. And the really crucial point here is the very first ingredient, chicken byproduct meal. Now, this includes organ meats and non-muscle tissue, and while it's completely safe and nutritionally usable, it is fundamentally a lower ingredient quality tier than the named muscle meats you'd find in premium cat foods. So if you're the kind of owner who closely scrutinizes ingredient panels for top-tier quality, this is definitely the treat's most obvious gap. All right, into the really fascinating stuff. Section 3. The large breed math, the under 2 calories trap. So an average domestic cat usually matures in about a year, but the Norwegian forest cat, they are beautifully slow maturing. According to the FIFA breed standard, they actually don't reach full physical maturity until they're 4 to 5 years old, and by then they can reach a massive 15 to 20 pounds. Because of this incredibly slow, massive growth, they're highly prone to post-maturity weight gain. So product choices that work perfectly fine for an average cat frequently fail when you apply them to this massive scale. Now, the marketing on the package proudly claims under 2 calories per treat. And let's be honest, that sounds incredibly low, right? It sounds totally guilt-free when you just look at it in isolation. A handful of 5 or 6 treats stays well under 12 calories. But, as we're about to see, that per treat number isn't the actual problem here.
Just look at how the manufacturer's own feeding guidelines scales. The package suggests feeding up to 15 treats per 10 pounds of body weight. Okay, so for a standard 10-pound average cat, that's 15 treats. But for a 15 to 20-pound Norwegian forest cat, if you follow that guideline literally, your cat could be eating over 20 treats every single day. This is one of those situations where your cat's large breed size actually works against the manufacturer's guideline.
And here is exactly why 20-plus treats is a huge problem. An average activity, 7 kilogram NFC, requires roughly 250 to 320 calories daily. So suddenly, those treats are taking up more than 10% of their total daily caloric intake. Standard veterinary guidelines strictly dictate that treats should never exceed 10% of a cat's daily calories. By following the package instructions for a large cat, you're literally filling a massive chunk of their diet with a nutritionally thin, grain-heavy source.
Which brings us right to Section 4, the final verdict: safe moderation versus free feeding.
The big takeaway here is strict, unwavering moderation. We highly recommend this product for occasional treating. We're talking 2 to 6 treats a session, maybe a few times a week. It is also completely unmatched as a training reward or for hiding medication, simply because of that intense palatability. However, if you're someone who leaves out free-feeding treat bowls, or if your NFC is already a bit overweight or has grain sensitivities, you absolutely need to skip this product, for sure.
Now, if you're looking at all this and deciding, you know what, I want to avoid byproduct meals and grains entirely, your best alternative is a single ingredient freeze-dried treat. Think freeze-dried chicken breast, but keep in mind the trade-off we discussed earlier. You are definitely going to trade away some of that intense, borderline addictive palatability, but in return, you're gaining a much cleaner ingredient panel that won't disrupt a grain-free primary diet.
I want to leave you with a bit of a provocative thought to chew on. Temptation treats do exactly what they're engineered to do. They get eaten enthusiastically. Honestly, that's both their greatest strength and their biggest risk. The treats can't portion themselves, right? So the real discipline has to come from you, the owner. The next time you shake that box, just ask yourself, are you feeding to support the long-term health of your gentle giant, or are you just giving in to their cravings? Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I really hope this structural breakdown helps you make the very best choice for your cat.